So, first one is, hi, I saw a comment you left in a thread which led me to watch a YouTube video you made about your journey from zero coding to landing a job. Blah blah blah. Basically, what I'm trying to figure out is if coding is even something I could do. I've done a little bit of learning on things such as Free Code Camp and Code Academy, but it feels like I've only scratched the surface. It's very intimidating, and although I feel like I'm fairly intelligent, I'm not sure if I have the brain to learn and retain coding. What did you do prior to making the switch? You seem like a very well educated guy, blah blah blah. I've just turned 35 and I'm having a mini midlife crisis, I think. So, quite a few things to address there. For those who do know me, previously to making my switch, I've got a whole video on this. Is I worked in financial markets. I worked as an analyst, and then prior to that, I also did teaching science in high school. Before that, I was in scientific research, so three massively different things compared to coding. But that just goes to show that regardless of what your background is, how old you are, blah blah blah, it really doesn't matter. You can make the switch to coding at any time. I've spoken to people a lot about this. Even if you're in your 50s, the only thing holding you back is your own willpower. You just need to start from somewhere. I advise, normally picking up an easy language like Ruby or Python, starting off with Code Academy, Free Code Camp, those kind of tutorial-based resources, and just learning the basics. Here's another one. I have no coding experience, but I have a huge desire to learn it, and I like it so far. What program did you start with? I started with Java, so you went from a total beginner to landing a job in 8 months. So again, I have spoken about this. It took me 8 months from the day where I wrote my first line of code, "Hello World," to actually landing a job offer. And I started with Python. I really, really strongly advise Python just because there's not a lot you need to worry about in terms of, you know, handling data types and all of the other kind of small intricacies that statically typed languages have. And along with that, there are a lot of really, really beginner friendly libraries out there for Python. And I would say out of most languages that are easy to learn, Python is probably the most in demand one as well. So you can't really go wrong with it. I would really strongly advise going with Python as your first language. Yeah, I was told that once you understand one language, it is easy to understand the new ones. What bootcamp did you attend? Would you recommend it? So, there is quite a lot of truth to that. Once you have mastered the concepts of a language, then it is actually really, really easy to pick up another language. I have got a whole video going through this, and I really, really do advise people who are learning to code not to constantly skip around in languages. Master one thing first before you move on to anything else, because you might end up in that position where you've learned five languages, the basics of them, but you can't actually do anything mildly complex in either one, and that's going to really hold you back because it's about testing your concepts, not testing the syntax. That's going to get you, a job or doing well in projects, whatever it is that you want to do with your coding skills. The second point of that is coding bootcamp. So I did the Makers Academy bootcamp. Got a full review on that. I really, really do recommend looking at a bootcamp as well if you can afford it, or look at options of doing a bootcamp for free. Because there are ways where you can kind of do it without having to pay, such as you go into a contract with the bootcamp after you get employed. So you kind of pay them the amount that you would have paid initially. So maybe they'll take like 10% of your salary every month for like a year or something. You might be contracted with the bootcamp for 2 years with one of their clients. It depends on the bootcamps and what kind of routes of entry they offer. And your video was really helpful. I'm just about to start a 14-week bootcamp as a total beginner. Okay, that's really good. I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in. In terms of finding employment, do you think the COVID pandemic has made it significantly more difficult to find employment as a junior developer? Now, the short answer is yes, it has. As with all things, the pandemic has generally made it much, much more difficult to find employment. Unless you're in the delivery industry, then it seems like delivery services are doing really, really well right now. But out of all industries, I would say tech's probably one of the least effective ones, just because you have the ability to work remotely fairly easily. Tech is never really gonna, I would say, is never really gonna be kind of phased out or made redundant. If anything, even as more things get automated, you actually need more developers to work on the automation side. So I would say it was kind of affected quite a bit at the start, but now a lot of recruiters that have been recruiting and hiring, they've said that the market is pretty much back to how it was before COVID, even though a lot of other industries, they're still struggling. So I would say yes, it is affected by things like pandemics and whatnot, but less so than other industries. Right, so if you've watched up to this point, then thank you guys so much for sticking with that. That was my quick Q&A, and now I've got two big announcements to make. The first one is I have spoken a lot about um, algorithms and those kind of leak code kind of questions for interviews. So for the next month, what I'm going to be doing is just for my own benefit, and if not just for my own benefit, for also your benefit watching, is I'm going to release a walkthrough for one kind of interview algorithm question a day. I'm going to show how to do it either through a programmatic way or kind of from a high level overview logical way, just how you would solve a commonly asked algorithmic question. And the second announcement is I am starting to do some more personal projects as well. So what I'm going to be doing is an open code room that I'm going to be streaming um, usually one day a week to start off with, and then every other day as we move into December. And the reason for that is because I work as a software developer. A lot of you guys might have questions for someone who's working in the industry or kind of seeing how software developer might work. I'm going to make that public. So if you do want to join in that, all you need to do is subscribe to the channel and you'll get a notification for when I start live streaming. And you can feel free to ask any questions. I'll be responding to comments. And I'm just going to be having that stream on as I'm working my projects throughout the day. And obviously, if you have any kind of problems or questions, then I can also try and help out with that as well. So again, this is completely, a free service just aimed at helping those who are looking to get into coding or kind of starting coding and they kind of want to get involved. And I want to hopefully try and create some kind of small community where people can kind of tune into the stream and just kind of interact with each other, ask questions, and obviously I could try and help out with whatever it is as well, and maybe live stream myself solving problems that you guys might have as well. So yeah, that's pretty much what I want to go through, guys. So again, please do like and subscribe to support the content and join in with the future live code room I'm going to be doing. And yes, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.